Okay, I think we're gonna make the stem today. I only have to go buy another tool to do that. So let's go. Okay, it wasn't on the shelf, but we've got it. So let's get this, head to Rona. Okay, we're gonna make some bolt parts, starting with the stem. Plan here is get it traced onto this for a template, rough cut it with the jigsaw, get it deadly on the oscillating bench sander. From there, trace that onto my plywood, which is gonna be a little bit of mucking around because they've got, I can show you here when I get these on, but they've got an optimized way to cut out your pieces so you have the least amount of waste. That 1/2 inch marine ply is 150 Canadian a pop, so we're gonna want to try and use as little as waste as possible. So what we're gonna do now is just trace out this stem. This is the first time I've done this, so bear with me. How am I gonna get this to not move? That's the word. They have to be full size, right? Like, this is the class. This is the whole thing. Like, this thing's freaking huge and damn near impossible to maneuver. Once I get started, this thing can't move. So we're gonna okay, so I've got the carbon paper the right way. May as well get this. You know what? This shit's cheap. It's 35 bucks. So if I waste a little here, I'm fine with that. And I think what I'm gonna do is just tape this. I'll be right back. Okay, so we'll just tape this down. One thing I gotta go back and look at here, I'm just thinking as I'm taping this, like the plan's just called to have this thing nailed together. I'm going to, or I want to, coat everything in epoxy, have it dry, give it a rough, like not rough, but a 220, and then use a thickened epoxy to laminate this. I don't want to just use nails. I want this thing to be strong. So I gotta just make sure that, because I know when you're doing it, or maybe I'll just clear epoxy it, let that tack up, thickened epoxy, and then that whole thing I'll coat in a clear epoxy. That's what I'll do. I think that's going to be easiest and least amount of epoxy. That epoxy is expensive. To be honest, they probably didn't even give me enough to. They probably gave me just enough to glass. Anyway, I can get more. That's not a big deal, but just kind of thinking out loud here. Okay, let's get this traced out. That's what we're trying to do here. Let's get her traced out. Yeah, I'm just gonna use a pencil. We'll try. I don't know. I could have this thing right up, and we'll have to start over. So, wish me luck. And because I tried to turn my microphone down so you didn't have to listen to me breathe all the time, I got no audio. It was on mute. So we got that bug worked out. Anyway, we got a little time lapse here to make up for that. Getting these traced onto the material we picked up this morning from Rona. Then once those are all traced, we're going to grab the jigsaw, cut those out roughly with the jigsaw. Then we're going to grab the tool that we bought this morning, the little oscillating bench top sander, spindle sander. Get them to 99% of their final shape, and then whack them with a little hand sponge to clean them up. So I've got the audio figured out now. We should be smooth sailing. Once I get them 100% here, we'll be ready to throw them on some plywood and get the stem and the breast hook made. Then we should be able to start on the keel, but that'll be hopefully next video. We're just waiting on some more tools from Amazon to show up. Imagine that. Okay, template's made. We've got our 1/2 inch ply. Plan is 3 layers. That'll give us 1.5 inches. Then once the stem's made, we'll do the breast hook. And I do have frame 1 made. We'll get that all situated. I don't know if that'll be in this video or the next one. We'll see. I was going to do like each section a video, but just as I'm editing and the way it's working out, I think we'll do 30 minutes-ish a video, depending on the feedback from everybody. We put our first video up last night. It's got 50 views. I was hoping it would get 10. So we'll see. I mean, I think people only watch 6 minutes of it, but that's okay. It's the first one. It's only going up from here. Anyway, we'll get this traced out 3 times. We'll use the jigsaw to rough it out. I'll get about, I don't know, 1/8, 1/4 inch away from the line, closer to 1/8. And then once they're laminated, I will probably double side tape this on there. Maybe I'll do some CA glue and some masking tape. Actually, that's probably what I'll do. I trust that CA glue better. Anyway, then we'll hit the router table and we'll have 3 identical stems. There'll be a little cleanup in these right angles with that router table. The round bit's not gonna, but that's way better than trying to make 3 individual ones and then getting them to glue up perfect while they're sliding around. It could be done, but I think this way's easier. So yeah, let's get after it here and get these traced out. And YouTube's got to figure out a way that I can have my radio on in the background instead of having to have my headphones in for these. Like, this is going to be a time lapse, but still you can kind of still hear the music in the background, and the last thing I need is the YouTube deleting my video or turning it off or whatever they do, because I got the radio on. This line doesn't have to be, like, I got a little, doesn't matter. This is just so I get close with the jigsaw. The hard part's done. Making the template, see it slid a little there? Not a big deal. As long as this is bigger, this piece is ultimately bigger than the template. Pretty sure you guys know what I mean, but when we get there, I'll show you. Anyway, I'll be back when I got these cut out. One thing I should show you, if anybody of you has ever built anything from Glenelg, you're probably watching me trace these out going, it's not where those go. So what he does is he gives you a plywood utilization like layout, and what that does is it lets you, well, utilize as much plywood as you can, right? So you're not wasting any. But because I've never built a boat before and I don't really have any idea what I'm doing, I've already modified these plans like 6 different ways. So this is kind of out the door. I'm not gonna have these thwart seats. Yeah, these thwart seats, I'm not gonna put those in, or the motor well. I'm gonna adjust my transom so it's got a cutout in the back and have my motor at the back with almost like bass style ledge here. It'll probably be, I don't know, 12 to 16 inches deep, and it's gonna have like my bilge pump and a live well and a seat back here, and then I'm gonna have a console with steering wheel, spot to put a stereo, the odd beverage holder, and then it'll have like classic boat like steering and throttle, no yoke. And then up here, I think same thing, it'll be kind of bass boat style where there's little ledge with some storage and stuff, and then in the middle here I'll probably just put a couple like just regular old seats, maybe do the ones that lay out into like a little lounge chair. We'll see what kind of room I have, but anyway, that's why I'm not using the plywood exactly like he's laid out, because I'm smarter than that guy. And then get my fucking or my shop set up, and I'm modifying the plans. And now we cut. Okay, bud. Let's see if we can't get some brass nails and some really hard plywood. 1-inch nails as per the fastening schedule. If you watched the first video on the epoxying curtains, you know I don't read too good, so I double checked that. Oh, and look at that. Yeah, 1-inch nails. 6 inches apart. So I'm gonna mark that out. And obviously they're gonna go from either side because they're 1 inch. This is 1.5 inches. So they're gonna be nailed from the outside in. So I'm gonna mark that out quick. Okay, they're marked. I stayed a little bit away from the bottom here because this is actually gonna get faired out. This is, well, it's easier with this. So this is essentially my boat in the water. I don't know if that's gonna show up on camera. So the seat at the bow is gonna be right here. And then this gets faired out around the boat. So when this becomes 1.5 inches thick here, this is all gonna get faired out. So I don't want nails. I want to be sanding nails basically. I mean, yeah, they're bronze, they're soft-ish, but just rather not do it. Then I got less nail in there and everything. So I just stayed a little bit back. Like I said, we're gonna try and get a nail in this sumbitch without bending the ever-living piss out of it, is kind of the plan. Oh, I guess I should mention, I'm just gonna do like 1 nail, maybe 2, because I've got to epoxy this. It doesn't tell me to, but it's getting epoxied. Everything's getting epoxy. Yeah, we're overbuilding this. I don't care. I don't care if I gotta buy more epoxy. Anyway, so I will be pulling this apart here. I just wanna see how soft these nails are. Never pounded a bronze nail. That's actually not bad at all. We're gonna stop right there because that was not nearly as soft as I thought it would be. That's pretty crazy. Like, that didn't even really bend when I pulled it out. That's cool. And these have all got like almost like a hose fitting. They're ribbed, so it won't want to pull out. But with the epoxy, it really won't want to pull out. Okay, let's put this away for a second here because we're going to epoxy this. Nail it while the epoxy's wet with a little bit of clamping. I've got enough space in here I can get clamps. And then, like I say, we'll flip her over and nail the other side. Yep, that's what we're gonna do. And we're just gonna throw a quick 80 grit on these just to give a little bit of texture to the surface that the epoxy is gonna stick to. So I hit all the epoxy sides with 80 grit here. Nothing major, just like I say, give the epoxy a little something to bind to. Okay, I gotta grab a tack cloth and get some of this dust off here. I don't think it's too terrible if there's a little dust on there just for the epoxy because you can thicken it with wood flour. So I really don't think it's an issue, but I mean, I don't know. Better play safe than sorry. Or just one more step. I think that's what I said it was going to be. Just one more step and we can get to epoxy. So I'll be back after lunch. Okay, had some lunch. Now it's time to epoxy. So I don't need this. It's just going to be in the way for a second here. Now, last time I did this, I don't know what episode right now. I'll have a better idea once I get a little handle on things on what episode's going where. I read the instructions out loud and then did the exact opposite because I'm not really a good book learner.
The thing with me is that I am smart and I'm self-smarted basically by myself.
Anyway, we're not going to do that this time. We're going to do it right. Now, in the research I've done on epoxy since said up, it's, if you can get it like deadly accurate, it's just that much stronger. So I bought these pumps because 2 pumps, 1 pump, nice and easy. But I'm going to use the scale still, I think, at least for now. So what we're going to do is mix this batch up. Then we're going to get our pieces wet with clear epoxy on each side. Thicken the leftover epoxy. Scrape it on just like we'd be putting glue on a floor or thin set or what have you. Throw it together, nail it together, let it set to the router table tomorrow. I'm going to let it set for at least 12 hours overnight. It's like 25 Celsius. I don't know what that is in America units. I'll put a thing on the screen. Let's go over this one more time. 1 part of hardener, 1. 2 parts resin. 2. 1. On. So if I do 100 grams of the hardener, I need 200 grams of the resin. because math. One, two, three, four. Let's see how accurate the pumps are. 4. So that's 30. We're gonna go 2 more pumps. 1, 2. So 46 grams. So that means I need 92 grams of this. Or hopefully 12 pumps. Let's see where we get to at 10. One. 92. Okay, let's start there. I can always make more. This stuff's expensive. So we're just gonna stir the ever-living piss out of this, get our wet coat on, and then we'll thicken it. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough here, but like I said, I'd rather have Okay, I've already changed my mind on how I'm doing this. I'm gonna do 1/2 thicken the epoxy in here, because I think that's all I'm gonna have enough for anyway. And if I have to make a smaller batch of clear epoxy for the next one, for the other side, I will, because we're gonna nail it, get it in a gentle set of clamps. From what I've seen, I think I mentioned this in the other video too, but from what I've seen, I'm not yelling at you, I got music in my ear. From what I've seen, you just want just enough pressure to even out the ridges from the thickened epoxy, so you get good coverage. You want like a 16th or maybe not a 16th, but like a 32nd. You almost want it to look like plywood. Like you don't want to squeeze all the epoxy out. The epoxy is actually giving it strength. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have just the right amount here, which is good. We had 46 grams and 92. And the other thing is, these little shithouse brushes I bought, I thought I was being smart, because they're just gonna get thrown out. I gotta go just a little higher quality. I'm leaving a lot of hairs behind. It's barely starting to get warm. Last time she was warm right away, I wonder why. Okay, both sides are wet. Let's thicken it. We got too much in there? Yeah, definitely gonna be wearing a mask for this. Okay. That's peanut butter consistency. So now what we're gonna do is take our little scrapey scraper. Okay, let's get her slapped together and some nails in her, and then we'll do the other side and get some clamps on her. It's all gonna get painted. I don't really like how that's setting. I don't have a finish hammer here, do I? Son of a bitch. Okay, well, if you're screaming in the comments right now, look at the hammer marks on that board. I get it. It's all getting 2 layers of fiber, well, a layer of fiberglass and 37 layers of paint. So none of this is exposed, and I don't have a nice finish hammer here. I just have the waffle framing, the old stiletto by. Okay, so, oh, Amazon's here. Maybe these are my router blades.
Yes, sir.
Hey, buddy.
Okay,
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too. Bullshit for Kate. I don't even want it. Now, where was I? Oh, yeah. So, I made 2 things. This shit is like dusty. Had to throw a mask on. But I also need to get this in bulk because that little container did that much epoxy. And I probably wasn't even thick enough. Next thing is I tried to make each subsequent frame a bit larger. Just instead of trying to get them all in a straight line, I know that I've got extra meat here. We'll see if that proves to be a good idea, a bad idea. Again, there's different things I can do if I need to fill a spot or whatever. It's all being painted. So this is the practice boat, as we're calling it. So let's get her nailed up and get her cured. I think we're gonna put it on the stand for this. We're gonna use these so we don't glue it to the stand. I'm gonna try and scrape what I can of this epoxy off. Yeah, I think I need a finer. I just got so much waste here. I mean, maybe that's par for the course. I don't know. We'll tweak it. We'll figure it out. We'll get there. Like, these aren't super tight. I just want to make sure everything's got a little bit of squeeze out, nice and even. Like this, if this was a wood glue up, I would give those a good crank. I'm not even worried about it. Ooh, am I gonna need some more clamps? Oh, bud. really liking it. I think I got the right consistency on the glue. Or epoxy. Now I got to try and get the rest of that out of there without making a complete and utter mess. Now, I am trimming this back, so it's going to be, like, there's not going to be globs of, that I got to like sand, of epoxy that I got to like sand out or something like that. What I'm trying to do now is just make it a little easier on my router, on my little baby router. Because I don't know how she's going to handle this. I didn't realize this must be fur or something. I thought it was the glue that made it marine. I got to look into this because that brand new little jigsaw bit, it's basically cooked. So it seems harder. Like I thought it was just filled and just a better water grade glue. But it seemed to be harder. I don't know if that's just in my head or what. I'm gonna, like I said, I'll look into that a little bit, see what the deal is there. But just trying to clean it up a little bit here so that, well, we don't have drips everywhere, shit like that. As he wipes up the drips off the floor. Okay, good news, the epoxy went off, so when you mix it right, it works. Crazy. We're gonna get it out of the clamps, get it over to the router table, get our template stuck back on the top here, and then see if this little router is strong enough to go through this 1.5 inches with these 2 layers of epoxy. I'm hoping it will, but we're gonna find out. I got a little more squeeze out than I probably wanted or probably should. I tried cleaning it up, but it's set up a lot slower than I thought. It was 24, 25 yesterday, and it's set up quite slow. So I'm a little bit nervous when it's, you know, maybe at best 15 degrees in here in the winter if I'm trying to do epoxy. So I think now we want to try and get this boat skinned by like the end of October. Which is, it's not going to happen, but we're sure as hell going to try. My goal was to have paint by Christmas. It's going to be tight. Anyway, let's get out of the clamps and make some more progress.